Now we're going to go to everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
Now, the thing is, people are wondering, why is New York Rick here? He only works on Mondays.
Hear from the man himself,
well, a lot of people have been taking shots at him, and I figured it was only fair that he's at least on to defend himself. If necessary. I don't know if anyone's taking shots today, but I feel like, that's the proper thing to do.
Here he is, Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, I'd argue you're the first.
Wow. Well, listen.
It's been a Rick takeover.
I mean, you speak when spoken to. I mean, them's the rules around.
I'd argue you're the first, then GC, then Troy. I mean, if anybody's taking shots, it's the entire crew over there.
What? By the way,
Hour, as if you know anything about boxing.
Wow, you hit us with the you hit us with the what do you know about boxing? Huh? How many boxing events have you worked on? I've been in the ring.
A lot more than you.
What are you talking about? I've actually been in the ring. I've worked more boxing events than MMA events at this point.
Yeah, how many boxing events have I worked? You ever hear of a little something called Top Rank that I did for years?
Never heard of it. Great promotion. Just never heard of it. Anyway, El Cubano is first, Frank. El Cubano is first. Actually, he wasn't first chronologically, but he did get the most votes, so he's first. Quick question this week.
Wait a minute. Is that really breaking news?
No, that's breaking news.
This is like putting multiple Surgeon General's warnings on a pack of cigarettes.
No, I think it qualifies. Qualifies. Who's closer to signing a new contract with UFC, Francis or Nathan Diaz? Golly. Neither? I mean, I almost lost it a day or two ago, if I'm being honest. Another tweet from Nathan, let me go, let me get this fight, let me do. I honestly almost lost it. And I, in fact, voiced this to his team. I'm tired of this story. I am legit tired of this story. And I can't believe that it's just being accepted. I can't believe that this story is just being accepted. This is a guy, one more time, who hasn't fought since June of last year. Hasn't been hurt, hasn't been suspended, hasn't been sidelined for any reason, and has actively been campaigning for multiple fights. There is records of this. There are records, there are tweets, there are posts of him actively campaigning for multiple fights. In that period of time, the UFC has offered him one fight. It was against Khamzat Chimaev back in October. One fight. And yet, the next time we're at a press conference and you hear Dana White say, well, we got to offer this guy 3 fights a year. The next time, because he is going to say it because he has said it many times before and no one has challenged him on it. Remember this moment. Where are the 3 fights? Where are the offers? What is being done right now is a travesty. This guy is in his prime. He's at the end of his run with UFC. They are icing him because they want him to fight Conor McGregor. As plain as possible. That's what's happening. And if you don't want to accept that, I'm sorry. But that's what's happening. He is being iced. Get this guy a fight. And there are other fights out there. Give him Poirier. Hell, revisit the Khamzat fight. I bet he would take it at this point. Do anything. Could we just stop with the tweets and stop with the drama? Like, at this point, I just want to see the guy fight and move on and see where he's at. So frustrating. Anyway, they're not really talking about a new deal with Francis, and they're not really talking about a new deal right now with Nathan. Ice, baby. Also, tell GC I will stop bothering him on Twitter now that the series is over and my Heat definitively beat down his Hawks. If it makes GC feel any better, I would have given New York Rick the same treatment. Viva Helwani. Was he attacking you?
Yeah, I understand it. I mean, it is what it is, but it's a 1 seed beating an 8 seed. Congratulations, You should have swept us.
Also, they weren't even a real 8 seed, right? Weren't they like a 9 or something?
Yeah, I think 9, 10. I mean, you should have swept us. So technically, you look bad here.
You're not too bothered about all of this. The Hawks aren't up on your power rankings of favorite teams.
I mean, I like the Hawks, but I knew they weren't going to win a championship.
No. Can't believe the Knicks lost to them last year. Lewis, my man, good afternoon, Ariel. Many of the items on the MMA Hour set have been present for years, surviving numerous set design changes, accurate, employment changes, accurate, and some even featured in lockdown Zoom backgrounds, accurate. My question is, which items on the set mean the most to you? What are the ones you're grabbing if the building was ablaze? When it's all said and done, I want to visit the MMA Hall of Fame and see a recreation of the MMA Hour set. Empty butternut squash soup included. There it is. Much love, Lewis. Wow, what a great question. Lewis always comes with the thoughtful questions. And it's true. Like, there are some things like this stuff right here. This is back from the AOL days. This is Brian Stan right here. There are some things that have gone from the AOL days to the SB Nation days to the ESPN days, back to the Vox days. This belt has to be up there with one of the first things that I'm grabbing. Let me see what else. I love this Roy McDonald one right here. Let's go to this camera right here. Show the people the Roy McDonald. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Look at that Roy McDonald. That is amazing. The detail is great. There's so many great things here. That luchador mask in the corner there from Jessica Aguilar, amazing.
Got to get Virna.
I mean, the picture of Virna, but that's just a thing that we blew up. We didn't actually. Wow. I mean, it's like. The Virna hat. Yes, thank you, Tucker. The hat is fantastic. This is a custom-made hat for me from my good friend Virna Janjiroba. The Happy Warrior Roxanne Modafferi signed fan is a big one for me. The Haggis toy given to me by Robert Whiteford is a really fun one. The signed Art Jimerson glove right up top over there. I don't know if you can see it's right up top over there. Signed Art Jimerson glove from UFC 1. That's a pretty damn big deal. There's a lot of great stuff here. But I think the belt probably comes with me first, even though it's one of the newer things. Got the Sugar Sean O'Malley gloves over there from my good friends at Sanibel. We've got the Combate Americas gloves over there, courtesy of my good friend Camel McLaren. A lot of great stuff. AJ, ahoy Ariel. This is a long one. I have a massive confession to make. I've been trying to figure out how to break this news for almost 2 months, but I've been too ashamed to ask. How about that? The last time you had Dan Hooker on, you guys chatted about Dan's very affordable cameo appearances. It got me thinking, wow, I'd love to surprise a friend with a very price-conscious video from the Hangman. I gladly signed up for Cameo and requested the $20 video from the Hangman. Since it was fight week, I figured I'd receive it sometime after his fight. But no, to my surprise, Dan submitted the video the night before the fight. Wow, I was speechless and super happy at the same time. But after seeing his fight and how it went, I now can't help but think that I might have been responsible for his performance. If Dan was hanging in his room on Fight Night Eve, making videos for me for $20 and not focusing on his opponent, is there a chance that I took his head out of the game and perhaps influenced the result of the fight all for $20? Better yet, do you also share this guilt with me? Being that the price point was promoted on your show, that we somehow had a role to play in his TKO loss. What do we do? Do we make a pact to never speak about our accidental influence over the Hangman getting TKO'd? Or is this one of those situations where it's better to air it out and heal out loud together? Ariel, please help. I mean, this is one of the all-time great questions on the program, because as someone who is riddled with guilt constantly on a day-to-day basis, almost 24 hours a day when I'm actually awake, I feel this pain right here. I will just say, though, that no, I don't feel like you should feel guilty, because let's be honest, he probably was doing a lot more videos than just yours, and this is on him. He didn't have to. There's like a day, like if you ask for a video, there's like a 7-day window. He didn't have to do it the night before. I mean, pretty crazy. Maybe he was just doing it to, pass the time. He didn't lose because of your video. Rest assured. But great question. Adrian, dear Ariel, greetings once again from London, Ontario, Canada. My question today is a straightforward one. Do you think someone can have more than one best friend? These are actually great this week. I take back everything I said. In my opinion, the answer is obviously no, because I believe that any question involving the word best should receive a singular response. My girlfriend is insistent, however, that she has 3 to 5 quote-unquote best friends on any given day. English is her second language, and so I am unsure if she's misunderstanding the word best as a non-native speaker, or if she's being intentionally difficult. To clarify the situation, I thought I would ask your opinion on the matter. What do you think, GC? Can you have more than one best friend?
Absolutely.
Frank?
Like you have different friend groups.
Right.
You certainly can have more than one best friend. And she probably has more than one best boyfriend at this point. Like, is she just being difficult is what he asked? Like, that's a lot.
Eric, can you have more than one best friend?
Of course not. The word best signifies you can have one. What kind of thing? I mean, this is the dumbest question ever. Yeah, of course you cannot have more than one best friend.
Best audio goes to.
Yeah. You could say one of my best friends. You could say one of my best friends, but if you're saying...
Sure, a good friend, one of my best friends, you cannot have more than one best friend.
I agree with that. I kind of agree with that. If you're going to say someone is the best, he's the best. Or she. Adrian continues. Oh, yeah, I didn't even read this part, and I did it already. I would appreciate if GC would weigh in on this as well, given his social nature. What do you make of that? Is that a compliment or not?
I'd like to hear the question first.
No, that was the question. He wanted to know if you can have more than one best friend. This is part of the same question.
Yeah.
He seems to think that you're a very social person.
I got thrown off by Rick coming through a walkie-talkie.
Speaking of Rick, there's more. Oh, wow, this is great. This is so great. I didn't even plan this. You could also ask New York Rick on Monday. He didn't know about this new edition of having Rick as part of the segment. But I doubt he has to concern himself with this issue since it requires having multiple friends. What do you have to say about that?
It's the schlub who is commenting onto the show to ask about his personal relationship.
Wow.
I mean, these guys, these people.
Mr. Helwani, is Nate Diaz ever going to fight again? Who's next for Conor McGregor? I mean, these guys are so pathetic. And
why are you so upset? Why are you so upset?
I guess I don't have enough friends. I'm so mad.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Newman, I have become very hello, Ariel. Hello, Newman. By the way, string of deaths recently to the Seinfeld cast. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, it's really sad.
Mrs. Seinfeld, Mrs. Costanza. Was there another one recently? This is Frank Costanza. We're moving in lock, stock, and barrel. We're going to be in the pool. We're going to be in the clubhouse. We're going to be all over that shuffleboard court. Finish it, Frank.
I actually can't.
And I dare you to keep me out. After UFC 274, he said, I've become very disgruntled UFC fan recently, and I feel like the greed of the UFC is the sole reason behind my grievance. Wow. After 274 on May 7th, they have 3 consecutive events scheduled at the Apex, which would make it 6 out of 7 events at the Apex. The only reason they're continuing to use the Apex is because it's cheaper than going on the road, and it sucks for the fans and the fighters. I mean, look, isn't it ironic? They're saying, we got to go back, May of 2020. They're the last ones in empty arenas. What's going on? I mean, it's great. It's convenient. It's very cost effective. This would be like WWE still doing events at the Thunderdome. I mean, it can't continue. You sign with the UFC and you're staying at the Renaissance and you're fighting in front of 4 people. It doesn't make sense. My other issue is they aren't scheduled. You go and you watch Fury White, 94,000. I know that's an anomaly. Then you go to the Bellator event in Hawaii and they're screaming Hawaiians there going crazy. You're like, and then I'm watching Dean Barry and Mike Jackson at the Apex. My other issue is they aren't scheduling any big fights, most likely because they're too cheap to pay the fighters what they're worth. It's almost May, and some of the biggest stars in the sport don't even have a fight scheduled yet. My theory is that the UFC brass believes that they could keep putting on shitty events, no disrespect to the fighters that keep costs low because they're already being paid by ESPN, and there's no real competition to the UFC, so the fans will watch no matter what. Am I overreacting here? No, I mean, look, there is no pressure. The events are bought and paid for, and I believe part of the reason why Dana has come out and said recently, our summer slate is going to be great and we're going to have John Jones and this and that, is to let people know, like, hey, we are trying to make big fights. But if you actually look at the summer slate, at least what's been announced so far, I mean, it's good fights, but is it anything that we haven't seen year after year? No, it's just fights. It's fights. It's Cannonier, Izzy. It's great. Wow, wonderful. But it's something that's going to, like, do any seismic business for anyone involved. Like I said, the revenue is fixed. They've never been more comfortable and they've never been making more money. And so there isn't that pressure to make these big time deals. Henry Cejudo, you want to rock the boat? God bless you. John Jones, you want to rock the boat? God bless you. Nate Diaz, you want to rock the boat? God bless you. Francis Ngannou, you want to rock the boat? God bless you. Trug Walker. Ariel, greetings from Ottawa, Ontario. My question is about recency bias among the MMA community. Do you think that as the sport continues to grow, as does the talent pool, that fighters across every division are simply facing far tougher competition than in years past? Maybe recency bias makes sense in combat sports. Do you think Ronda would have gone to be champ if she were in her prime today? Shout out to GC for cutting the best babyface promos in MMA Hour control room history. Wow, how about that? He likes her promos.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were promos.
Specific, yeah.
Recency bias is a thing in all sports, I feel like, right? Oh, LeBron's better than MJ. Tyson Fury's better than Muhammad Ali. It's a thing in every sport. No, Tyson Fury isn't better than Muhammad Ali. No, LeBron James isn't better than Michael Jordan. No, Kamaru Usman isn't better than George St. Pierre yet. I mean, it could change, but not quite yet. So yes, recency bias is a thing, but not just in MMA, in all communities. Lior, hey Ariel, hope Passover was good. Before I ask my question, I must say GC and New York Rick together in one segment is much better. And when you have all three when all three of you have a discussion, it feels like I'm in the living room talking MMA with friends. And this is the biggest compliment I can give. That's very nice of you, Lior. I like that a lot. And those are some of my favorite segments. That's why I want to have everyone involved. Everyone can chime in. My question is, if the UFC don't let Diaz fight, as he keeps on saying, what would you do if you were him? Besides Twitter, does he have anything to do about it? Look, I've said this to the team. You guys need to take another avenue other than Twitter. Now, I've volunteered to have him on the program. I've volunteered to have his team on the program. I've even said, do a press conference, show the facts, explain your situation. But the every 3-4 day tweet, like I want out or I'm retired, I'm this, I don't think is helping anyone. But I don't know about all of you. I'm just getting tired. It's hard to watch. Could you imagine? Let's just say who's the equivalent of Nathan Diaz in terms of popularity in boxing? I don't know. Who's as big as? Do you want to say Errol Spence? I think Nathan Diaz is a bigger star than Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford? I don't know. Name one of those dudes, right? Ryan Garcia, I don't know, someone like that. Could you imagine this guy's being like, yeah, I'm trying to fight, but my promoter, Bob Arum or Oscar De La Hoya or Eddie Hearn or name a guy, whatever. Leonard Ellerby, Al Heyman. Yeah, they just won't get me a fight. What? What do you mean they won't get you a fight? What do you mean they're not going to get you a fight? Now, sometimes it's not the fight that we want. Sometimes it's, Spence versus Ugas instead of Spence versus Crawford, even though Spence versus Ugas was great. Point is, it may not be the fight that we want. That's always played boxing. But imagine that guy not getting a fight. What do you mean you can't get him a fight? What do you mean he's not fighting in July? How is that possible? What do you mean you have extended his contract? And how long does this extension last? A year? Sweaty Spaghetti said, Rick is that weird workmate that eats all of the dip and otherwise adds nothing beneficial to the conversation. I think that's not fair.
I mean, do I even need to talk about this guy? Also, can we go back to the guy? His name was Shrug Walker. I mean, you're just going to gloss over that one?
So sometimes you just have
pretend like that's the name.
Sometimes you just have to let it be.
Fair enough. Okay.
Eric with a K. Hi, Ariel. NBA question for you today. The Miami Heat just beat the Hawks. Sorry, GC, without Jimmy Butler or Kyle Lowry. I'm as biased as any Miami sports fan, but I think the Heat are the deepest team in the league. They keep finding ways to win without generational talent. Do you agree? They're a great organization, great coaching staff, great front office, beautiful locker rooms. I got to go in their locker room when I was doing Heat Clippers back in 2020. I mean, it's literally a red carpet. The whole freaking back is red carpet. Eric Spoelstra, brilliant office. How do you fancy their odds to win the chip? I have to say right now, I think the Celtics are the favorite in the East. I think it's coming down to the Celtics or the Bucks in the East. And quite frankly, I think the winner of that could actually win the NBA title, which is amazing because I think when RJ Barrett hit the buzzer beater against the Celtics in January, I think they were 3 games under 500. I mean, what Ime Udoka has done in the last few months, incredible. They were talking about trading Brown and Tatum. And I still maintain that Tatum is a top 5 star in this league. He signs off with this. I mean, this is crazy. The New York Rick of shooting contested mid-range bricks. Eric.
So he's the GOAT of it. Well, I hope I mean,
what's with all the backlash?
No, I mean, he's saying that he's the GOAT of shooting contested mid-range sprints.
Okay. All right.
And I can appreciate that. Keep getting them up. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Eric.
David, Ariel, you previously mentioned that Nate had a knee injury versus Masvidal. Would you say the result would have been different if that wasn't the case? Hard to say. Masvidal was on fire that year. Would a rematch be more competitive? Right now, yeah, I think so. Also, not saying Nate would have beaten Leon, but he has also stated that he had an injury before that fight that made him lose motivation a month before. Did he say that? I don't remember that one. Nico, Sava Ariel. Sorry I was MIA last week. I had a job interview. Hope it went well. 2 questions this week. Can you provide some clarity around which team Darren Benedict Arnold Till belongs to now after his loyalties everything post? I think he's still with the guys in Liverpool. And maybe that was in response to what Andreas Michaels said on the program on Monday, but I wouldn't look too into it. Which non-sports journalist do you look up to the most? Wow, that is a great question. Well, the name that came to mind was a sports journalist that I really look up to. It's Stephen Brunt. I love Stephen Brunt out of Canada, one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I just love the way he conducts himself and the class, the ethics, all that. These are all sports guys, I guess. I guess I'm not very cultured. I have to say, I think political media sucks. Like, if you want me to say a political guy, I think they all suck. I'm not a fan of any of them. Right, left, middle, they all suck. They're all biased. Not a fan. I love Le Batard. Yeah, I mean, there's certain guys that you just want to go hear what they have to say when there's a big thing. I like Ryan Russillo a lot, but these are sports guys, so I don't know if I'm giving you the answer that you're looking forward to, but or looking for non-sport. I mean, I really used to like the Charlie Rose show, but then, he got canceled, and I don't know anything about that stuff. But as far as like the interviews, I thought his interviews were really good. Gomi is the GOAT. Nothing against Stipe, but why is he considered the heavyweight GOAT when he only defended the belt only 3 times? Because no one defended it as much as him. Well, so he says considering Fedor has done it a million times, they say he's the UFC heavyweight GOAT. I think he's in the conversation for greatest heavyweights, but I think most people would say Fedor is still, at least I think, the greatest heavyweight, period, but he never fought in the UFC. Ariel, has anyone who's been close with both you and Dana, like DC, helped to try and facilitate a squashing of the beef between you two? Like a serious effort? I don't think so. I think most people think it's too toxic and would come back to bite them, so they stay away from it. But honestly, I don't lose any sleep over it. It does not affect me whatsoever. We stay in our lanes. He has, I think, minimized the amount of pot shots. And the frustrating thing was when I was with ESPN, he would hit me below the belt and I was not allowed to respond. Now that I'm gone, he doesn't even hit me. And maybe because, I don't know, maybe he thinks I'm irrelevant now or not worth his time. Maybe I know it bothered him that I was at ESPN. And maybe that's why I was top of mind. Who the hell knows? It would drive him nuts. He tried to end that before I even got there. But, if he keeps my name out of his mouth and doesn't make it personal, I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but just don't make it personal. Don't talk about my family. Don't talk about my kids. And I've never done that. I have never made it personal. But I'm talking about the business, and he considers that personal. That's been always the crux of the issue. Me talking about the business and fighter pay, and he views that as I view that as just like fodder, transactional. They have so won this race and have so won. Like, if you are not open to any kind of criticism when you are that successful and that far ahead of everyone else, then what are we doing here? But to answer the question, I don't think anyone has actually given it the old real college try. Maybe, I know the executives at ESPN tried to broach it, but to what extent, I have no idea. What's up, Ariel? At the post-fight press conference for May Mac, you asked Leonard Ellerby why a certain section was blocked off in the stands. I'm sure you remember. Oh, are you going to keep that same energy with your best friend Jake Paul or Eddie Hearn? You once said that his rise reminded you a lot of Conor McGregor's, yet Jake Paul can't even give away tickets to the greatest women's boxing match of all time. First of all, when did I compare Jake Paul's? Like, this is the thing about people who come at you and talk shit. They make up shit. I have never compared. I have once said that his rise reminded you a lot of Conor McGregor's. What the hell are you talking about? Now, I could talk about the buzz, this and that, but like if we're talking about his actual fighting career, you're making crap up. And yeah, guess what? If there are actual blocks, like sections, Mayweather McGregor had sections wide open. If there are actual blocks open, absolutely. I'll ask that question. Why was that such a bad thing to ask? There were actual, like section 119 empty. There wasn't a single person in it. The vibe in that arena wasn't great. People showed up for the co-main. I think it was Tank Davis fighting the co-main. It might have even been Badu Jack in the co-main. Tank Davis might have been before him. By the time the co-main was about to start, there was like 1,000 people in that arena. Don't talk to me about the crowd. I can guarantee you the crowd, the vibe, the buzz will be infinitely better than that. Now, will it draw the same? No. Will the viewers be the same? No. But I don't know why you're so mad. Alex Alley 209, Amy Otis. Old news, but whatever happened with Mike Goldberg? It always bothered me that the promotion let him leave without any fanfare whatsoever. I think they wanted to go with John Anik. And then he left Bellator. Yeah, I mean, Bellator has gone with Morrow, and they've gone with Sean Grandy, who I think does a great job. He is doing some BYB, like some bare knuckle stuff. But I think they just felt like Anik was the better broadcaster. Good day, Ariel. From Brain Dead Kira. First time posting here. You recently described the chat as a cesspit. I think I said cesspool, but same thing. Which I found amusing as it's one of the few places I have fun and knowledgeable exchanges about MMA and other hot topics after a long day of work. To be clear, I never called this chat a cesspool. I called the YouTube chat a cesspool. But I love you guys on YouTube. Thank you. Could you find it within yourself to send salutations to Melissa Del Gadillo? She is the kindest. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It might be Del Gadillo or Del Gadillo. She's the kindest, most positive chat member ever to exist. Please be clear. I love this chat here. I love the community here. I am not talking about you. I recognize the vast majority of you guys. And Melissa is an absolute saint and a beautiful human being inside and out. So I am not talking about any of you here. I was talking about like the faceless, fake name people that just spew nonsense. Eric Reyes, Ron Swanson, AIM 661, who unbeknownst to them have all helped reduce the impact of my alexia and agraphia and given me some really good laughs. Is it agraphia?
Yeah.
As the great Max Holloway has been known to state, it is what it is. And our chat is the pound for pound champ of the YouTubes. Oh, on YouTube you're talking about? All right. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that. Wishing you, the rest of the crew, the chat, and your respective loved ones the very best. Wow. Okay. Big money. Ariel, would you rather be a fly? Oh, wow. Look at this. This is a great question. Would you rather be a fly on the wall at an upcoming matchmaker meeting with Dana, Hunter, etc., or Frank and GC's next UFC viewing party? What do you guys think? Which is more interesting?
It's a question for you.
Well, which do you think would be more interesting? Being a fly on the wall at your party or with the UFC brass?
As a fly on the wall, can you eat buffalo chicken dip?
Probably not. I mean, you
Pizzas.
can like sit on it, but maybe like
Will
nip
there
at
be
it.
ranch for the pizza?
I'm going to go with Dana and Hunter and just see what they're talking about.
Wow.
I'm also
There you
curious
go.
about what food, drink item you typically bring as a guest at someone's gathering. Personally, I don't think one could go wrong with a classic bottle of wine. Great question. We like to bring a wine, sometimes even a plant. There's a place next to my house that makes tremendous banana bread. Always a crowd pleaser. People love the banana bread. Sometimes I'll bring, like a 6-pack, this and that, but I don't like to partake in that sort of thing. I'm big into bringing the banana bread. Weird guys or not so weird? It really works with every occasion. Who doesn't get excited when you give them a loaf of banana bread?
I love banana bread. Chocolate chips in there sometimes.
Yeah. Bengal the Yeti. Shalom, Ariel. Dana tried to pressure Jones and Stipe last week by saying they should fight in July. I don't know if it was pressure. I think it was get the word out there, get people excited. It's not happening. Here's the situation. Hot tag. It ain't happening July 2nd. They've been talking about doing an event at MSG July 30th. That fight was brought up for MSG July 30th. Stipe, as Jones actually, quote unquote, leaked yesterday, isn't ready for July 30th. Who knows when he'll be ready? No sooner than September. And so the question is, well, do you not go to MSG July 30th? Do you save Jones for another time? Do you save him for Stipe? And what do you do with the rest of the heavyweight division? What I would do is, all right, July, September, it's all freaking the same. Wait for Stipe if he's going to come back September. If he gives you his word he's coming back, book that fight. Do Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades July 23rd in the UK. Go to France, August, September, do Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. That's how I would book the heavyweight division. And I feel like it's pretty easy. By the time all that plays out, you see what's going on with Francis. If Francis doesn't come out, I mean, you're going to have a top contender and two, if not three, out of that 6 fighter trio of fights, blah, blah, blah. And you'll have an interim title fight. Or if you have to strip Francis, you'll have a vacant title fight. Pretty easy. Do you think Dana thinks about how easy it is to pressure the fighters with these announcements before he gives them, or does he just shoot from the hip? I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's very calculated. I think it's A, to get people excited. I think it's B, to put some pressure. I think it's C, to get ESPN and the pay-per-view people excited. Hey, we're working on this. We've got this going. But it like I spoke to Richard Schaefer via text. He said they're working on it. Didn't divulge too much. So it is sincere in that regard. But if you're banking on going to International Fight Week and seeing John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, it ain't happening. Hello, Ariel. All I want to say is thanks for the great content you give us, and thank you for making my Monday and Wednesday better. You help me a lot by listening to your stories. I hope one day I can have just 5 of your success doing this type of show. You are a person I look up to a lot. Greetings from Montenegro. Thank you. There is an event on the 29th of May in Poland. Vaso Psycho versus the Polish Zombie. Pride rules. No time limit, no weigh-in. Hope you check it out. All right, I will. Hey, Ariel, with the recent astronomical purchase of Twitter by Elon Musk, I would love to get your thoughts on this entire saga. Oh, wow. We spoke about this. I'm still not sure. Is this a good thing or a bad thing for Twitter, New York Rick?
Again, it remains to be seen. It will be, I will imagine that policing restrictions, content monitoring will be reduced. So if people are interested in that, it will be a good thing for them. If people are interested in things being curated and things being removed from the platform that are either offensive or not offensive, depending on who's looking at them, then it will be bad because I think oversight is going to be reduced. So TBD, and also like he hasn't even officially bought it yet. Like there's still a long ways to go here, but it depends on where you fall on the side of the fence in terms of freedom of platform and responsibility of platform.
JD asks, what changes would you like to see? Just an edit button. That's pretty much it. I mean, I could say like less hate, less vitriol, less toxicity, but I don't know if that's even possible. I mean, I guess you can try to filter out the fake accounts, the bots, all that stuff. What is your favorite part about having GC and New York Rick on set now? Oh, wow. What a nice question from Matt in Montreal. I mean, I get more excited about the chatter, the discussion, the debates, all that stuff as I do the interviews. I mean, I love it. It's great. When you got great chemistry and great teammates and friends working with you, it makes it that much more fun. I never want this show to just be me talking the whole time. I mean, that's in large part why there's X amount of guests on the show, but even in these moments, in these segments, when we recap the weekend, all that stuff. It's wonderful. And for the longest time, it was just New York Rick here. And then he left me. And, I had to just kind of do it by myself. But now we are stronger and healthier than ever. Howdy, Ariel. Any news on Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez? Still heard that that's the plan, but no real news. Greetings, Ariel. In recent interviews, Dana White has been touting the upcoming UFC summer lineup. What's your most anticipated fight of the summer and why? Wow. Well, if they could get Jones and Stipe done for July 30th, that would be it. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Could we get Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier or no? No. How about Leon versus Kamaru Usman? That's probably one that I'm really excited about. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hamza versus Colby would be great, but I don't think it happens this summer. Hey, Ariel, with John Jones not likely fighting on the 30th and it potentially being at MSG, do you think a Nate versus Dustin fight could be a possible headliner? Would be cool because they were supposed to fight there way back when, but I don't know if they go to MSG if it's not John Jones. Patrick, favorite segment of the week. 2 quick questions. Any update on Frankie Edgar's next fight? No. Someone ask Ali on Twitter. You might get him responding. You might get another account. Ask Frankie. You don't know who's going to, who knows? You could get dunked on. GC, what other fire throwbacks are you hiding from us? Also, you got to show us the sneakers when wearing such throwbacks. What's your best throwback, GC?
The Matumba one's pretty good. I have a KD Supersonics jersey that I'm pretty fond
of. Wow, that's a great one.
The Denver rainbow one is great. I got a Ken Griffey Mariners if we're getting into other sports. Thrashers, Ilya Kovalchuk.
Wow,
we go deep. I got a pretty big jersey collection. Yeah, the Darties back in college.
The Darties?
It really opened the can of worms here. Yeah, Darties.
What is that?
Parties.
What?
Day parties.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's literally a party during the day.
And you wear jerseys to these parties?
Typically, yeah.
Wow. Seems like a great time. What the hell? Wait a second. Hey, does New York Rick, did you really say this, New York Rick? Does New York Rick really believe that Noah Eagle is the voice of our generation? Was this guy paying it? Was he did someone
not paying attention? I mean, I'm not surprised. These people who ask the questions on this don't seem to be the.
Wait, we were just talking about Noah Eagle on Slack. Did this guy hack our Slack chat? Did you say this somewhere else?
No, I did not. I've never talked about Noah Eagle in my entire life.
Crazy.
Again,
who is C Money? Is that you? Is that you, GC?
I don't pay for that subscription. You forced me to pay. I don't pay for that.
Who? Is it Frank?
No, come on. We know it's Connor. Stop it.
Rick, dude, I would not do that to you.
Tim. No. Hey, Ariel, if you could set up any...
Wait. No, before we move on. Iron Eagle is...
no.
Broadcast.
The question is Noah Eagle.
No, I know.
You were really taking that... You were taken aback by that Nickelodeon NFL broadcast performance. My God.
You liked it that much?
I feel like Connor doesn't realize that nobody knows who Noah Eagle is. He's trying to push this joke forward and doesn't
Dude,
realize
it's not me, bro. It's not me.
Oh my God, this is great.
But shout out to Iron Eagle to go.
Yeah. If you could set up any cross-promotional fight between Bellator and the UFC, who would you want to see fight? Oh God. I mean, as of 2 weeks ago, I would have said AJ versus Volkanovski. Mousasi versus Izzy? I feel like that's got to be the one, right? Mousasi versus Izzy. Yeah, that's my pick. Mousasi versus Izzy. Salut, Ariel. Real quick question. Oh, real quick message to the CEO. Fighters always talk about wanting to bring their opponents into the deep waters. My question to you is, what waters? Name the waters, Bappa. Name them.
Amazing.
Brandon, hello, great Helwani. I'm curious, does anyone from the MMA Hour crew use Discord? And if so, are there any great MMA Discord communities you'd be able to suggest? Thanks from Illinois. I do not use Discord. I actually think TST is a big Discord guy. GC, do you use Discord?
I've used it. I'm not frequent on it, though.
Frank, you big Discord guy?
Yeah, I use it.
For what?
All sorts of different communities, yeah.
I was expecting you to say, that's a little too personal.
Well, I mean, it's not. It didn't come with your gaming chair, though? You didn't get a subscription to
Discord Nitro? Any MMA groups that you're a part of?
You know what? I'm not, no.
New York Rick?
Use Discord, no MMA groups. Yeah. Sorry.
I saw that you reported UFC's coming to MSG or looking to come. Yes, looking. Not a done deal. Don't get crazy on me. But they have talked about it. Safe to say the main event will be Izzy versus Cannonier July 2nd. I mean, there's a very good chance. Yes, that's the one. Do you think there's any credence to the John Jones is serving a 2-year suspension conspiracy theory? No. What is that? Like the Michael Jordan was suspended one in 1993? I never even heard that. Reginald, I don't think there's any credence to that. Who are Mrs. Helwani and your offspring's favorite fighters? Golly. Mrs. Helwani, I don't know if she has favorite. I mean, she always liked DC. She likes Rose. She likes the women fight. She liked Gina Carano before Gina, turned on me and blocked me on Twitter. That's the story. My kids don't really have favorite fighters. I mean, I think the only fighter they know of is Conor. My son, my middle son Walter likes Roman Reigns, and my older son likes Goldberg, but I don't think that counts. My mom, hardcore Carlos Condit and Uriah Faber fan. She's the real hardcore fan. Olajuwon, afternoon. I was going to ask this last week, but there was no show. As a newer MMA fan, I just learned about the April 17, 2010 Strikeforce Nashville brawl. Wow. Just wondering what was the significance of that event at the time. I think I read something that MMA didn't return to national television for over a year after that. Wow. That was insane. That was 3 shows in a row. We went from Abu Dhabi for UFC 112 to Nashville for the Strikeforce event on CBS with 3 title fights on it, one of which was a big one between Dan Henderson and Jake Shields. King Mo versus Musasi was also on it. And then we went to Sacramento for the WEC pay-per-view, the lone one, which was also a big deal. What was so big about this was it's on CBS, relatively new to CBS. The first national television show or broadcast television show was 2008 in Newark, Kimbo Slice versus James Thompson. So we're relatively new into this era of MMA on mainstream TV. And Jake Shields, Dan Henderson have their fight. And then Jake Shields is doing his post-fight interview. And Mayhem Miller shows up and asks him if he wears a mask or not. No, I'm just joking. He shows up and gets involved. And then the Diaz brothers, and there's a brawl and all this stuff. You know what I remember most about that? So I'm there, and the brawl happens, and we go to the press conference, and I go to the press conference, and when I walk into the press conference room, Scott Coker is sitting at the dais. Like, how often does it happen where the guy, the promoter, is already in the room before the media gets there? Let me tell you, not that often. And I remember telling Scott, did you see what just happened? And he didn't know. He wasn't there. Scott was in the back. And then he left and went to... When the brawl happened, Scott wasn't there. He was in the back sitting at the dais. And I was one of the first people to get into the room. And I told him, did you see what just happened? He said no. He left, came back, talked about it. Casey and I ended up interviewing Nick in the hallway. It was a crazy scene. And, a lot of us thought that it might, hurt MMA. And it may have. I hurt the sport. It didn't really affect the sport all that much. Because as the great Gus Johnson once said, these things happen in MMA. Do you think the next fight for both will be Kattar versus Allen? No. I think they're going Kattar versus Josh Emmett. Elizabeth, young Ariel. As you were perhaps a little hurried and were unable to read my previous submission, I will endeavor to keep it to the point this time. A. That Covington character will most certainly not be fighting with Mr. Chimaev. He will avoid it at all costs. Oh, God. Here come the allergies. The rise of Mr. Chimaev has diluted the return of Conor, that Irish boy with fair hair who increasingly resembles one of my corgis. Lots of bark, no bite. Wow, Elizabeth, coming out strong. I will leave you with the Palace rankings for the top 10 lightweights in the world, which are based on fighting ability rather than popularity and notoriety, and are voted on monthly by the royal household. Wow, okay, here we go. Islam Makhachev, Arman Tsarukyan, Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev, Michael Chandler, Yoel Alvarez, Rafael Dos Anjos. Wow. bold, but I kind of like it. I wish you a safe passage, to you as well. Good day, Ariel. My question to you is, would you rather have Drake's career or Tyson Fury's career? Wow. Taking into account your ability to make money long-term, overall fame and achievements, arguably the thrill of a sporting triumph is greater than the thrill of performing at a concert, but does it balance out against? I'd 1,000% take Drake's career. I don't get a punch in the face. Excuse me. 1,000% take Drake's career. Tyson's career is great, but I ain't getting punched in the face. Would you be interested in a Logan Paul versus Patrick McAfee WWE match? Sure. You could take one male fighter and one female fighter to make the ultimate fighting baby. Which two fighters would you choose? Golly, I don't know if I could go with that one. I hope you had an enjoyable and restful week off, celebrating Passover. What are your thoughts on the Messianic Judaism, and have you ever heard that Jesus fulfilled the spring feasts? He died on Passover, was buried on the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and rose again on the Feast of First Fruits. His death is also symbolized by matzah bread because he was pierced. Golly. I don't know about this one, JD. The UFC has done such a good job of building up Cheeto since the O'Malley fight. No matter the outcome of his fight on Saturday, do you think that he would still offer to fight Sugar later this year? I think they'll fight again, but I don't think it's happening this year. Good afternoon, Ariel. Normally don't like these types of questions, but when will you get Tan Lee on your show? Manager's been asking. You know, the thing is, I'd love to get all these people on the show, but you get these people on the show, and it's like, who's that? Who's that? Like, 'cause sometimes I wonder if the fans of MMA are actual MMA fans or if they're just fans of 5 people in this sport. Who's that guy? Who's that? I've never heard of that guy before. Shout out from Delco. Delco is 20 minutes outside of Philly, where my boy Andre Petrosky is from. What's the deal with Paulo Costa? I don't know, man. Him and Rockhold. I asked Rockhold about this recently. He said July 2nd. Let's see. Nick Diaz in his prime versus Brendan Schaub in a 12-round boxing match. Wow. Nick. Hey, Ariel, how long will it take for Cejudo to be a double champ again? Double champ? I don't know about that. Hey, Ariel, everyone has their Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters, but who are your Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters that you have interviewed? Golly. Good call from Sweaty Spaghetti. It's the same list. I've interviewed all of them. I think he means like the best interviews. I don't like to pick the best. I mean, Connor was always great. DC was always great. Nick and Nate are a different kind of great. I mean, it's the usual suspects. You know them. Okay. What's yours, G City, and Frank Mysterio's favorite fast food joint? Jack in the Box, Carl's Jr., In-N-Out are forever goated. Take it easy. Frank?
Out of that list, I guess.
No, I think anything.
Whataburger?
Wow, never even had that.
Whataburger's great. Love Jack in the Box. Chick-fil-A for me, though.
Chick-fil-A, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I had Chick-fil-A for the first time ever in the Dallas airport when I was coming back from Mania.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
First time ever.
You should have called me. I probably had it 1,000 times. It was on my meal plan in college.
Jeez, Louis. First time ever I had the breakfast basket thing. I have to say it was pretty damn amazing because there was like the chicken and the eggs in there, which I don't know how I feel
So you
about
got
that.
breakfast. You haven't even had one of their chicken sandwiches.
Never.
Oh, my God. All right. The day that I go and get matzo ball soup with you, we'll knock out a chicken sandwich afterward.
It's that good?
I mean, dude, like the Popeyes mania, how crazy everyone was going. The whole time I was just like, Chick-fil-A sandwich is better.
Wow, okay. Fast food, I don't really have a lot of fast food favorites. I mean, does Domino's Pizza count? As a kid, I loved Domino's Pizza. Is that fast food? Not really.
It's fast enough.
All right. Under 30. What's the crack, Ariel? Love the show. Great to have you back. It's been a long week without my fox of great content. I really admire how you handled the Bryce Mitchell interview from a wee while ago. Do you think you were able to deal with this so calmly due to years of having to put up with New York Rick's endlessly terrible takes. Wow. I mean, full force.
What's this guy's name? Remind me of this guy's name.
Gigi Lopez.
Gigi Lopez, wipe the Cheetos dust off your hands and close the app. Turn it off. Nobody wants you here. Get out of here.
Wow. Why do you think his name is Gigi Lopez?
Who knows? Who cares? He's a goober. Get out.
Also, are you ready to experience a solid 30 minutes of fury from the headliner coming out the 23rd of April, or is it the 28th? Can I get a shout out to my bud, MJ Crabtree, who recently asked me to be his best man? He is truly the biggest mensch I know. Keep up the great work. And then he says something that I can't pronounce. Hey, Ariel, not sure if you're into comedy, but there's an amazing special dropping this week. It's by John Africa's favorite comedian, so you know it's going to be good. It's not on Blockbuster or even Netflix, but it's on YouTube. Wow. I'd suggest getting some P.F. Chang's and spending the night in and watching it. I would love to check that out. Do you guys know about that?
Anxiously anticipating. Been looking forward to it.
Hey, Ariel.
The last one was great.
I was the guy that met his girlfriend. I think was it a comedy or horror?
It was a horror, I believe.
I was the guy that met his girlfriend for the first time at Universal 2 weeks ago. Just wanted to say it went great. She and her family like me. Also, I will kick GC in the chest if he doesn't follow me on Verdict. I'm a purple belt. Come at me, GC. Okay, my question is, has there been any update on Rafael Fiziev? I would like to see him against Gamrot. Sorry for such a long message. Take care. Nothing yet. I saw him chirping at RDA. Let's see. Oh, I like this question. We're approaching the end here. Don't worry. Shalom, Ariel. Mani Shma. I read in an article about you that you put tefillin on every morning. Why do you do this? Keep up all the great work. So for those that don't know, tefillin is something that you put on as a Jewish person. You wrap it around your arm 7 times. You put a little thing here. You pray in the morning. You do this once you become bar mitzvah. And yes, it is true. I don't talk about this stuff much, but I do it every morning. And I've done it every morning since I became a man, quote unquote. When you're 13, you have your bar mitzvah. That's when you're supposed to do it. And the reason I did it early on, quite honestly, is because my father told me he wanted me to do it. And so I did it because he asked me to. And I usually listen to him. And over time, the reason why I did it, I'll never forget, my dad is a man of very few words, and he is very spiritual, and Judaism means a lot to him. And we were at our synagogue, and he had donated some money for something called a Beit HaMidrash, which is basically a place where you go and learn. And they were kind of honoring him there, and we all went to this breakfast, and very rare to see him speak publicly. And he said something in his speech that really stuck with me that I never forgot, and is sort of the reason why I keep doing it. Basically, he said that he put his tefillin on, this thing that you wrap around yourself. You may have seen people do this, even at airports sometimes in the morning, if you're traveling. He put it on every morning as an adult, and you put it on really tight. And when you put it on really tight around your arm, there are marks that show up on your arm, and they're there for like an hour, and then they kind of go away. And he always would look down at those marks as he would begin his day and go off and do his work and be an adult as his armor, as he would go off into the world after praying. And that always stuck with me. I thought it was really profound. And I remember him saying it. He got emotional when he was talking about it. And so when I started traveling and I was older and going to these events, and I'm in Australia, I'm in Abu Dhabi, I'm in Ireland, I'm in England, I'm here, there, Brazil, I always found it very motivational, inspirational to have this armor as I'm in these places about to go cover these cage fighting events and whatnot. And it kind of reminded me of where I came from. It reminded me of my parents. It reminded me of who I am, of my background. And I felt like that was my armor for the day. No matter what, if it's a tense situation, if it's an uncomfortable situation, if it's an anxious situation, and it just felt like a really great way to start the day. So that's the reason why I do it. You mentioned in your 2 Cent Tuesday that 135 is the best weight in combat sports, which I agree with, but you said it was kind of wild. What exactly do you mean by wild? Well, what I mean by wild is like literally in MMA and boxing, Male, female, 135 is the best weight class. It's the best, most active and deep weight class in Bellator. It's arguably the best in the UFC. I know you could talk about 55 and whatnot, but it's a very strong case that you can make. It's by far the best weight class in men's boxing right now, with guys like Haney and Kambosos and Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko. And in women's boxing, it's the best. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. I just think that's kind of wild. As you're well aware, you are a leading man of MMA lexicon. Your I Would Be Remiss can be heard on other MMA podcasts from Bisping to Zhang Wei Li. Really? Let's not forget the People's Main Event. Of course, that one was stolen from me. One major exception is the Come On. That one is lifted straight from Daniel Ryan Cormier, specifically on the DC and Helwani show, in particular when discussing his love for the Beverly Hillbillies. No, this is not DC writing you, but let him have the come on. Alternatively, give him his flowers. Respect and God bless. I've never said otherwise. That is my ode to him. It's 1,000% from him. We even talked about the come on the show. Any update on you appearing on Bilal's podcast? I think old Bilal meant to send that to Volkanovski, but he tagged me, so I took the chance. I don't know. I don't understand all of that. It's crazy to me, but whatever. Respect, Ariel. Listening to the Dan Hardy interview has me believing Tyson Fury could possibly cut through the top 10 of the UFC heavyweight rankings. Is that crazy? I mean, not right away, but over time, sure. Which current MMA promotion is either locking in that number 2 spot for the biggest MMA promotion of the world? I would still give it to Bellator right now. What do you think could happen at UFC 274 to be the equivalent of John Moran's game-changing dunk? By the way, that dunk, I hate when people say posterized. You've been posterized, because no one buys posters. That's an actual poster. Like, that dunk is so amazing, and the photo of the dunk from the backboard was so amazing. Like, that could actually be a poster. I mean, a Gaethje knockout, a Rose knockout. Dear Ariel, Yom HaShoah. Yes. On Friday, April 23rd, Mikey Musumichi made his one championship debut against the legend Masakazu Minari, finishing the leglock pioneer with intricately controlled rear naked choke, a thing of all beauty. I wonder, who do you think currently has the best jiu-jitsu in MMA? Buchecha, Dern, Tonin, Burns. Tough. Buchecha, maybe. Really missed all of you boys. And Yoon, thank you. Shocking take by Rick yesterday from someone in the UK. I could tell you Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul in the UK with Eddie Hearn promoting 100% sells big. Just imagining the buildup with Tyson Logan and crazy John Fury going at it. In contrast, an Anderson Silva versus Paul press conference would send me to sleep. I don't know if Eddie Hearn would be a part of that. Okay, just 2 more here. There's a lot. Golly, there's a lot. AJ McKee's loss seemed a little suspicious to me. Do you think him openly talking about pay and wanting the UFC belt impacted the fight's decision? Hell no. I thought about writing this for a few months, but felt bad. However, when Francis Ngannou told you to stick to journalism when you started humming singing to him, I thought it was the right time. I love your work, but singing isn't your strongest attribute. Wouldn't be at all upset if you gave it up for more Helwani sound bites. Got to side with the champs. All right. Thank you for all your hard work. Even if PFL signs Cyborg, how does that burnish Kayla's standing? In my opinion, it's a lose-lose. She's supposed to beat a 36-year-old past her prime Cyborg. By the way, Cyborg past her prime, what are you talking about? Cyborg's not past her prime. She's fine. It'll be the biggest win. What time frame do you think we'll see Volkanovski back? Third quarter. When does Conor come back? Late third or fourth, if not next year, but not before. If Tana Aspinall fights for an interim title, are you there? Ooh, Tommy Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall, da 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 da. I'm not hearing interim title. Blades, but not interim title. All right, we're done. I gotta go. It's been a fun day. Oh, by the way, New York Rick, there's nice comments coming your way on Twitter from Lewis. I really adore New York Rick and everything he stands for and contributes to the show. See? We end on a positive note. He's gone anyway. Everyone's gone. I don't even think anyone's back there. Thank you very much to everyone who watched. Thank you very much to all the questions and everyone who... I love the community. Please, let's not confuse what I was saying.